early.
Oh, so I think do you live nearby the airport? No.
No, I don't live there.
So you have to get up earlier.
Yes. 1 hour before. Every day I get up at 1 a.m.
Wow.
Yes,
It's a hard schedule.
yes, it's really hard,
How long have you
but
been
I try
working?
to.
How long
Sorry,
have how long have you been working there?
uh, 5 years ago in this April.
Oh, long time.
Yes, I work in Boliviana Aviación.
That's good. That's good.
Yes, but all my life I was working in the airport,
Ah,
but I don't like to get up early.
yeah. It's a little hard. But you
But it's
know,
necessary.
yeah. But you know, when after many years you get used of it, and even if you don't have to work, you get up early.
Yes, it's true.
That's it.
What did you do in your holiday?
I stay at home because I had a lot of work to do here. So I didn't do any special.
Sorry, I have
Professor,
children, 2 children.
Yes, I didn't do anything special.
Professor, good evening.
Good evening.
Could you please accept me from my computer? I want to switch from the cell phone.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So I was reading some of your tasks. I don't remember. You were talking about the conditions of the building, languages, career building. You have changed the building or not? Because somebody wrote about the building that it was in very bad conditions, a lot of wet, things like that in the building. Lately, these years, there was very bad condition building career. That's a problem, especially all buildings. Okay, very good. Okay, so let's continue working. Today we're going to do two lessons, and they are related. We're going to talk about functions, and also we're going to talk about clauses. Okay, let's start with the first one. Okay, let's go to I'm going to open you can open the PowerPoint. Unit 4.
Lesson 5.
Lesson 4.
Okay.
Lesson 4. Lesson 4 and function, it's very important to understand and work very well with this because For example, why do they contract the verb to be? The verb be, no? When they pronounce verb be, they shorten the verb. But there is a reason for that. That's why form and function gives us the idea why they do that, no? They use different, shorten some words, okay? What is form and function? What is form and function? Form and function. Okay. What is form and function in English? When we talk about language, form refers to the name of things, along with its definitions. For example, giraffe, no? Refers to the name of the thing, of a thing. Function refers to how a thing is acting or operating in particular context. Okay, for example, giraffe has a long neck, no? What is the function? To get the leaves from tall trees. Okay, it's the same. When you talk about when you use the words, they have a function. Okay, how they work in the language. Says here, when analyzing grammar in these textbooks, understanding the difference between form and function is one of the keys to successful analysis of words, phrases, clauses, and sentences in the context. Okay? So we have a link here. We will talk about we're going to do this, okay? So form refers to the name of the thing, and function refers to how thing is acting within the sentence. Okay? Oh, sorry. What is an example of the form of function? We had already seen, no? The form of an organism always has a function that aids the organism in survival. For example, a giraffe has a long neck, which is a form. And this long neck allows the giraffe to eat leaves that are high up in trees, which one of the functions of this form. It is said that function follows form. Okay? Here we have the link, so we get this information. Okay? What is the difference between the form and function of the word? While function addresses what we do with language, forms are the language structures and vocabulary that are used to support those functions. Okay? We're going to see some examples in this link. Okay? Okay. 1 minute. Okay. We're going to see the okay. We're going to see some more explanation in this link. Okay. In the platform, you can see there is 2 links talking about this form function. We're going to see this. There on the platform, I put 2 articles related with this, okay? Form and function. Here we have 2 articles. Language function form and a brief summary. Talking about this link. And the function word in everyday speech. Okay? So we analyze this. Can you see the document?
Yes, Professor.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So here, for example, says that language function refers to the purpose for which speech or writing is being used. For example, in a speech, giving instructions, introducing ourselves, making requests. That's the function, the words, the sentence. Okay. In academic writing, we use the range of specific functions in order to communicate ideas clearly. This includes describing processes, comparing or contrasting ideas or scenes, and classifying objects of ideas. Okay? For example, in the task homework that you did the other day, for example, you had to describe some processes, okay? In some tasks, because if you teach students from other areas, for example, this is important, especially biology or engineering, okay? Or comparing or contrasting ideas, things, okay? Classifying objects or ideas. The contrast between form and function in language can be illustrated through a simple medical analogy. If doctor studied only a limited portion of the human system, such anatomical form, they will be unable to adequately address to their patient needs. To fully treat their patient, physician must understand the purpose of the human body and the relationship between organs, cells, and genes. Okay? ELLS need to understand both the form, is talking about the structure, and the function, the purpose of the English in order to reach higher levels of proficiency. Okay? Here we have, for example, a table that we can see, no? Language function and language form. For example, if you want to say expressing needs and likes, okay, what do you have to use? Indirect, direct, object, subject, verb, agreeing pronouns. Okay? Describing people and things, nouns, pronouns, adjectives. Describing spatial and temporal relations, prepositional phrases. And so on. So if you use this to write, to teach some functions and some, you can, for example, you want that your students retelling past events, okay? So what form that you have to teach your students? You have to teach past tense verbs, present perfect aspect, present and past, okay? And so it's very necessary to keep in mind this. So when you are teaching or when you are writing something, you can use this table to guide you to do the correct choice of words and structures. Okay. Here you have a lot of purposes, functions, and summarizing, for example. Okay. Increasing in complex sentence with increasing specific vocabulary. persuading, performs. Okay, so you had a lot of interesting things. Okay, you can use this like take an example. Here, for example, acquisition of language function and grammatical forms for grades. Okay, this table is very useful because if you use to, for example, to plan your classes, your class in general, you can use these ideas. Okay, for example, you have beginning students. For example, say, demonstrate mimical comprehension or general meaning, gain familiarity with sounds, rhythms, and patterns of English. Early stage show no verbal responses, while in later stages, 1 or 2 word responses are expected. The students respond in single words or phrases, which may include subject or predicate. Many speeches errors are observed. Okay, so there you are, no? So when you say language function, this is a language function, expressing needs and likes. Okay. So here you have a form, for example, 1 or 2 answers, nouns, yes, not to question about reference, 2 apples or 3. Simple sentence with subject, where I like, don't like, object. Okay, like that. Sentence structure forms. The basic sentence structures that we use to express needs and likes are foundation. To be more complex sentence structure we use for academic purposes. Okay, so you have all the structure that we have here, forms up here, to fulfill the objectives of this. No? In that way, you are gonna get a good plan to teach your students. Okay. Here, for example, here you have language function describing people, place, and things. When you say beginning, common nouns and adjectives. Early intermediate, simple sentence with the verb to be using common nouns and adjectives. Okay, and so on. Intermediate, elaborated sentence, have, had, okay. Early advanced, compound sentence, complex sentence, subject forms, nouns, pronouns, and adjectives. Students learn to understand and generate oral and written language. Okay, so these tables are very, very useful. Describing location, describing actions, retelling, relating past events, okay, making predictions, asking informal questions. Oh, you had a lot here, okay. So, for example, if you want to plan a class, if you want to plan a test, you can get ideas from this, okay? This is very useful. We had a lot of them. There you are, no? Generalization, evaluating, for example. Adjectives that point out particular object. That way on those boys, each person will get number 2, 10, okay? Adjectives used to. When you evaluate complex sentences, increasing explicitity of noun, verbs, and adjective to relative conjunction. Okay. We have a lot here. Summarizing. For example, how can you teach your students, beginning students, summarize? Copy out short tests, can copy single words and short tests. Okay. But in the early intermediate, paraphrase the short written passages in a simple fashion, using the original text wording and ordering. pick out and reproduce keywords and phrases or short sentences from a short test within the learner's limited competence and experience. Okay, so you have a lot of beautiful and very useful ideas here. Use always this table to teach your students, or maybe to plan. For example, somebody asks you to plan your class. You say, oh, what can I do now? Well, you can use this. Remember, you are clearly enough the function and the form that you want to, especially the function, okay? And the function gives you the clue what form of the verb, of the words you are going to use, okay? So this is it's a very useful document that you can keep, okay? You can copy and you can download and you can use it. You are going to use this, for example, because at the end, you are going to prepare a placement test, okay? So here you have some ideas. They talk about function and form, okay? We're going to talk about other documents that we have here in the platform. The platform. Okay, function. Okay. Here, for example, it's very interesting, this article. The other one. That's why I was telling you about why do they shorten these the verbs or sound words. Yeah? Okay, we're going to listen, okay, because it's recorded, and you only have to follow the reading here. Okay, let's listen. Then we are going. Let's see. All right.
Films. Perhaps you decide to watch Mixtape, a movie recently made by Netflix.
Oh my gosh, this girl's so rad!
You might ask yourself about the words you just heard. Why did the speaker say the word rad, a term that means very good or amazing, in a louder way? Why were some of the words said quietly and more quickly? In today's report, you will learn about function words in everyday speech. Let's start with a few important terms and ideas. Function words are words that have a grammatical purpose. Function words include pronouns, determiners, and conjunctions. These include words such as he, the, those, and the words and or but. Americans often reduce function words in everyday speech. In other words, they often say function words more quietly and quickly. Let's consider an example sentence.
He picked up the book.
The function words are he, a pronoun, and the, an article. These function words do not really give specific information. If you heard a person only say the words he, the, you would have a hard time understanding what they meant. Now let's consider the other words in the statement, the content words. Content words are words such as nouns, verbs, and adjectives. The content words in our example are the phrasal verb picked up and the noun book.
He picked up the book.
If the statement only had content words, it would not be a complete sentence, but it would still communicate a general idea. If our example only had content words, it would be this: picked up, book. The importance of content words explains why Americans often reduce function words in everyday speech. Function words have a grammatical use, but are less central to expressing specific meaning. Listen again to our example and note how the function words are said more quickly and quietly.
He picked up the book.
Think back to the line from the film Mixtape.
Oh my gosh, this store's so rad!
The first sentence has the word gosh, a kind of expression that shows excitement or surprise. This term is said a bit louder. In the second sentence, note that the content words are spoken a bit louder as well, while the function words are said quietly and quickly. Store, a noun, and rad, an adjective, are spoken most clearly. The word so is also spoken clearly because it helps to show the speaker's strong feelings. If we took out some of the function words, the reduced statement would be, gosh, store, so rad. This is not a complete sentence, but it does communicate the speaker's very general idea. Note that the verb be is treated almost like a function word. In other words, the speaker does not stress the verb be. Instead of saying, this store is so rad, the speaker says something closer to, this store's so rad. While Americans often stress verbs, the verb be can be a special exception. In other words, Americans often do not stress the verb be. The reasons behind this are complex, but one possibility is that the verb be in its present tense form does not add a lot of information. In today's report, we explored how and why function words are often reduced in everyday speech. Speakers often reduce function words because they want to draw the listener's attention to content words, the words that give the most specific meaning. The next time you listen to Americans speak, pay careful attention to how they reduce function words. With time, you will notice regular, repeated ways in which English speakers express ideas. And of course, make careful note of when speakers say function words more loudly and clearly. This act is often a clue that the speaker is making a correction or clarification. I'm John Russell.
Okay. That's interesting, isn't it? So you know now why they reduce the function word, no? And also he talked about the content word, the most important words, the content words. No? And when they speak, they say always are spoken a bit louder as well. Okay, that's the point of this. It's very interesting. Okay. Do you have any question about this? No questions? It's not that difficult to understand this. Okay, so if you don't have any questions, we're going to continue watching a video that you are here. Okay, we're going to practice this. Talking about the function and content words. Okay. 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 So those are related with lexical meaning. Okay, we're going to watch a video with Jarvin Hunger. When we talk about the meaning, what does he say about sense, reference, dictionary style meaning, mental meaning, meaning as a reference, meaning in relationships, hyponymy, hypernymy, synonym, antonymy. Okay, this is the introduction to the word semantic, and it's related with the form and function. Okay, we're going to see the video. Here we have. But meanwhile you're doing, please take some notes with these ideas and also with the explanation. Okay, sorry. Okay, if you had open, try to copy these ideas. Okay, copy these ideas. Okay, and later we're going to prepare what's the name of this? Synoptic table. Okay, with all the ideas, so the form function, what is related to lexical meaning. Okay. Let's watch the video. So let's see. Yeah. Meanwhile, please copy the ideas. The last.
The term semantics, originally Greek, is a recent addition to the English language. However, in its early use in the 19th century, the term was not used simply to refer to meaning, but to its development, with what we today call historical semantics. Today, semantics is one of the main areas in linguistics. Often, semantics is used synonymously with word semantics, a branch of semantics that seeks to explain the phenomenon of meaning in natural language by means of defining the nature of word meaning. We will concentrate on word semantics in this introductory e-lecture to semantics. Now, word semantics seeks to explain the phenomenon of meaning in natural language by means of defining the nature of word meaning. There are two ways of looking at word meaning, resulting in two branches of word semantics. The first is referred to as reference or referential semantics. The second deals with sense, and it is often referred to as lexical semantics. Let's start with reference. Now, what is the relation between a linguistic sign, that is a word, or to be precise, a lexeme, and the real-life object? Well, there is clearly some sort of definable relationship between lexemes and objects. We use lexemes to refer to objects. Fly, for example, can clearly be defined as an animate physical object, an insect with 6 legs and 2 wings. Or we refer to actions, such as cooking, which is clearly an action. Do you remember these 2 cooks? I used them in my phonology e-lecture, associated with the famous quotation, "Phonetics gathers the raw material, phonemics cooks it." By who is it? Do you remember? Okay, let's return to semantics. The explanation of the relationship between lexemes and the real-world objects is undoubtedly the task of semantics. One of the oldest views can be found in Plato's dialogue Kratilos, the so-called naming view.